Okay, so think about this. You're trying to describe something, maybe something really precise, or you're telling a story you want it to be compelling, or, even just making a point clear in a meeting. We all want that, right? To communicate well, sound thoughtful, make sure our words actually land with impact. But sometimes, um, the actual structure of our sentences, well, it can get in the way. Or, flip side, it can be our biggest help.
It's true. And it's fascinating because, many people just see grammar as this like rigid set of rules, a chore almost, something you had to learn in school. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, grammar isn't really just about being correct. It's more like the architecture of thought itself. It's the blueprint for how we build meaning, how we add nuance, how we make sense.
Exactly. And today we're taking a deep dive into something that might seem, well, a bit surprising as our source material. It's a university-level English grammar exam.
On exam, yeah.
Yes, an exam. But hang on, this isn't about passing a test or getting a grade. It's really about pulling out those fascinating bits of knowledge hidden inside.
Hmm.
We want to show you how getting a handle on sentence structure, clauses, phrases, how that can genuinely transform your ability to express yourself with real clarity and power.
Hmm.
So our mission today is basically to demystify some of these, let's say, advanced grammar concepts and show them for what they are, powerful tools for better communication for everyone.
Powerful tools. I like that. Not dusty rules.
Definitely. Okay, so let's start with a passage from the exam. It's in the structural analysis section. It's a little story. And this one gets really interesting, seeing how grammar helps us unpack the adventure in the story. Listen to this. I did not know the city at all, and what is more, I could not speak a word of the language. Having spent my first day in the town center, I decided to lose my way deliberately on my second day. Moreover, I believed this was the surest way to know my way around. I got onto the first bus that passed and descended some 30 minutes later in a suburb. I discovered mysterious little bookshops and back streets and eventually arrived at a marketplace where I stopped and had coffee. After I had walked about aimlessly for some time, I decided to ask for the way. I tried several times with different people, but it was in vain since the only word I knew was the name of the street. I perceived it would be impossible to argue about the matter, so I went to the nearest railway station.
Right. It seems pretty straightforward on the surface, just someone exploring a new place. But this simple narrative becomes a kind of masterclass in how sentences are built, doesn't it? The exam asks us to really dissect it. And when we do that, we start to see how different structures create meaning, change the feel of it.
Let's look at the first sentence. I did not know the city at all, and what is more, I could not speak a word of the language.
Hmm.
Now, the exam task is to rewrite this. Use a correlative conjunction. Keep it a compound sentence. Think about the shift in emphasis if you say, neither did I know the city at all, nor could I speak a word of the language. It feels different, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's much more forceful. Correlative conjunctions like neither nor, or you could use both and, or either, or they don't just, stick ideas together. They create a very specific relationship. Often a sense of balance, or in this case, a really strong connection, a stronger negative connection.
Yeah, like a complete lack of both things. It hits harder than just using and.
Exactly. It underlines the totality of the problem. It's about choosing the right tool for the specific effect you want to create. It's not just arbitrary.
Okay, good point. Now let's jump to sentence 5. I discovered mysterious little bookshops and back streets and eventually arrived at a marketplace where I stopped and had coffee.
Yeah.
The exam asks for its type, and this one is a compound complex.
Right. Compound complex.
It sounds complicated, but it's like a layer cake, really. You've got independent clauses. I discovered bookshops. I arrived at a marketplace, joined by and. But then you also have that dependent clause tacked on, where I stopped and had coffee, adding extra detail.
And understanding that structure, knowing you can build sentences like that is so valuable. It lets you weave together multiple ideas, actions, locations, descriptions, all into one single coherent thought.
Instead of sounding choppy like, I found bookshops, then I went to a market, I had coffee there.
Precisely. It allows for a much richer description. Think about describing those mysterious little bookshops. A complex sentence helps capture that complexity, that sense of discovery unfolding.
It really does build the scene. Okay, what about adding details concisely? Sentence 2 starts. Having spent my first day in the town center, I decided to lose my way deliberately on my second day. That first bit. Having spent, that's a participial phrase. The exam asks us to identify it. Why use that?
Well, what's fascinating there is the efficiency. It's incredibly concise. Think about the alternative. After I'd spent my first day in the town center, it's longer, a bit more cumbersome maybe,
Right.
having spent just neatly packages that prior action. It tells us when the decision happened efficiently,
Yeah.
and it makes the writing flow better, makes it feel a bit more sophisticated, less repetitive.
It's about packing more information into fewer words smartly.
Exactly. Maximum information, minimal footprint, you could say.
And we see that again when the exam asks to rewrite sentence 6. After I had walked about aimlessly for some time, I decided to ask for the way.
Mm-hmm.
Using a participial phrase, you'd get, having walked about aimlessly for some time, I decided to ask for the way.
Same principle, economy and flow.
So it raises the question, though, when should you actually use this? Is it always better?
Good question. Not always, but it's particularly effective when the action in that participial phrase directly leads into or explains the action in the main clause. Like here, the walking aimlessly directly precedes the decision to ask for directions. It creates a smooth, logical link.
Cause and effect, almost.
Yeah, it emphasizes that connection. It makes the sentence more dynamic, less wordy. It's a really great tool for adding that touch of sophistication to your writing.
Okay, so we've looked at taking sentences apart, appreciating how they work inside. But what about actively building better sentences? That's where the second part of this exam comes in sentence combination.
Right, now we shift from analysis to actual application, putting the pieces together.
And these exercises are great because they show how knowing about clauses and phrases lets you merge ideas, create something more elegant, more precise.
Instead of just having lots of short, maybe simplistic, disconnected statements, it's about creating that sophisticated flow we talked about.
Let's take the first one they give. Some teenagers are fond of fast food these days. Are you among those teenagers? I wonder. 3 short sentences. The task is to combine them using a noun clause and an adjective clause.
Mm-hmm.
You could end up with something like, I wonder whether you are among those teenagers who are fond of fast food these days. 1 sentence.
And see how that works. The noun clause, whether you are among those teenagers, it neatly embeds the question right into the main sentence. I wonder this.
Moves it out.
Exactly. And then the adjective clause, who are fond of fast food these days, it does the work of identifying which teenagers. It modifies teenagers.
All without needing that extra clunky sentence. It just flows.
Seamless integration of information. That's the goal.
Okay, here's another one. Example 4. It's about defining language. The source sentences are, a language is a signaling system. It operates with symbolic vocal sounds. It is used by a group of people for the purpose of communication. Combine these using 2 adjectival clauses.
Right. So you could say a language is a signaling system that operates with symbolic vocal sounds and that is used by a group of people for the purpose of communication.
Nice.
What's really effective here is how those 2 clauses, both starting with that, work together. They provide 2 distinct essential characteristics of the signaling system.
Without repeating, it operates or it is used.
Exactly. No redundancy. You get a really comprehensive definition packed efficiently into one sophisticated sentence. It builds the meaning layer by layer.
Very clear. Okay, another really compelling example is number 6, about reforms in Morocco. It's a bit more complex. The initial sentences are, Morocco has carried out a series of legislative, social, economic, and political reforms. Morocco wants to encourage the emergence of a democratic civil society. This country also wants to harmonize its legislation with international norms. This makes the democratic transition in Morocco smooth and devoid of obstacles. Quite a lot there.
4 distinct ideas.
And the instruction is to combine them using 2 infinitive phrases and an adjective clause.
Okay, let's think. You could construct it something like this. Morocco has carried out a series of reforms to encourage the emergence of a democratic civil society and to harmonize its legislation with international norms, which makes the democratic transition smooth and devoid of obstacles.
Wow, okay. Let's break that down. The infinitive phrases.
To encourage
Yeah.
and to harmonize, see how clearly they state the purpose, why were the reforms carried out to do these things.
Right, the goal.
Precisely. And then that adjective clause at the end, which makes the democratic transition smooth, that clearly states the result or the intended impact of those reforms.
So you get purpose and result chained together logically.
Exactly. It creates this beautiful cause and effect flow within a single, quite powerful sentence. It's very elegant.
It really is. Okay, let's bring this down to a maybe more everyday situation. Example 7 is about editing your own writing. Sentences. I am editing my writing. I often move adverbial modifiers to the front of a sentence. I make my writing flow more smoothly. The task. Combine using an abridged adverbial clause of time and an adverbial clause of purpose.
Right. So applying those tools you might get. When editing my writing, I often move adverbial modifiers to the front of a sentence so that I make my writing flow more smoothly.
Okay. When editing my writing, that's the abridged time clause.
Yes, instead of when I am editing my writing, it's shortened, more concise. It just sets the context when this action happens
Got it. And the purpose clause.
so that I make my writing flow more smoothly. Very clearly states the reason or the purpose for moving those modifiers. Why do I do it? So that this result happens.
It shows how these aren't just, academic exercises. These are practical tools.
Absolutely practical. This demonstrates strategic placement, putting the time context first, and clarity of intent, stating the purpose explicitly. You can use this structure to improve clarity in almost any kind of writing or speaking, making your why clear.
So we've kind of journeyed through this grammar exam, haven't we?
Yeah?
And transformed it really from just a list of questions into a proper deep dive on how language actually works, the mechanics of it, from seeing the punch of a correlative conjunction to strategically combining ideas with clauses and phrases. It really drives home that grammar isn't just rules for their own sake.
Not at all. It's a toolkit, a sophisticated one.
So this raises the important question then. What does all this mean for you, listening right now, for you as a learner?
Well, I think it means gaining control, real control over your communication. By understanding these structures, knowing how a participial phrase can condense things or how an adjective clause adds detail seamlessly, you get the power to make your communication, well, not just technically correct.
But clearer.
Clearer, yes, and more persuasive, more impactful, more effective, ultimately.
It empowers you to shape your message deliberately. Say exactly what you mean, how you mean it.
Whether you're trying to explain something really complex or just tell a simple story more vividly.
It really is about being precise, being impactful, and being truly expressive.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is incredibly exciting. Liberating, even.
Absolutely. You know, what's fascinating here is realizing the real adventure isn't just, say, getting lost in a city, like in that first story. The deeper adventure is maybe getting lost and then confidently finding your way within the intricate landscape of language itself.
I like that metaphor.
Understanding the pathways, the structures, mastering the tools to articulate your thoughts with unparalleled precision. It's about building those strong, clear bridges of understanding every time you write or speak.
So the takeaway maybe is next time you're crafting something in email, prepping for a presentation, even just sharing a story with a friend, pause for a second. Think about the architecture. How are you arranging the pieces, your clauses, your phrases? How can you make your message truly sing? Make it resonate. Convey exactly what you intend.
The choice is yours.
It really is.
Yeah.
Use the structure. Don't let it use you. Make language your most powerful ally.